Hello everybody, welcome along to season 6 of the GT3 Masters Series. We're here at Circuit of the Americas. Sorry, I've got so much going on here at the minute. I was playing this massive, fantastic introduction and completely messed that up. Welcome to the series. Anyway, yes, here we are. We're just in a practice session. We're a bit early this week because obviously first race of the season, we thought we'd spend a little bit of time. Let's just turn the volume up a little bit so you can hear us. A little bit of time just going through the runners and riders for this season. For those of you in chat and watching this later on, if you go into the description of the video, you will see that there is a spotter's guide and indeed a program guide as well, which will give you all the details of the runners and riders. But we will go through them very soon and give you a rundown of all the drivers and teams taking part in GT3 Masters 6. However, before we do that, I think it's only right and proper that we must pay our respects to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who sadly passed away on Thursday. She was devoted to her country and the Commonwealth, and her value around the world cannot be understated. So our commiserations and thoughts go to everybody in the UK and the Commonwealth. So as I said, we're here for race 1 of a 7-race series. The GT. Oh, hello! Who's just dropped in front of us there? Let's get on track with somebody, shall we? Who's on track at the moment? Crew chief himself, Mr. Jim Britton, in the lovely liveried gold Audi R8 there. Change from the McLaren last year, and indeed a change of teammate, but we'll get into that shortly. But first of all, let's go through the teams for you so you know who we've got. Hello in chat, thank you all for being there. Thank you, Simon. Yeah, best luck to you guys as well. I don't think I need the luck today. I think driving around Circuit of Americas, you guys have got all your work cut out. Very technical track. The off tracks apparently are, I wouldn't say comical, but they certainly keep into the black stuff, which is as it should be. But yeah, trying to get a valid lap around here will be a challenge for the guys in qualifying to get a good time, especially with so many runners and riders. 44 drivers registered for the series, 20 teams, so it should be a real cracker. So let's go through some of those runners and riders for you in no particular order, apart from I think it's only right and proper that we begin with intense racing. As you know, Cliff Bulcke won GT3 Masters 5. Seems like so long ago. No, it is so long ago, but yeah, Cliff Bulcke. And David Dhoore bringing home the team title as well. There is David on track at the moment. And you can see the lovely livery you've got. David has got the blue accents on his car. Cliff will have the red ones on his. We expect to see these guys at the front. Intense racing. Cliff Bulcke there you can see carrying the number 1 on his car, Aston Martin V8 Vantage, the GT3 2019 version, so not the big V12, although that would have been a monster. This one's slightly more nimble than that big brute. It still sounds awesome though. So there's your colours for David and Cliff. One of our regulars, Team 77, Simon Fillingham, and 8-time RR League's champion Ralf Arella. Ralph's in the pits. Is Simon out at the moment? No, Simon's also in the pits as well. So let's see if we can do a bit of creative photography here. There we go. Let's just wind this back a little bit. That's not him. That's not him either. Is Ralph hiding inside that car? Yeah, he is. You can see there's 2 cars. Either that or he's got extra downforce on that car there. BMW looking very You can just see inside there. We'll come back to 77 very shortly. Let's see if we can find another team we can look at. We're just looking at Jim Britton and the crew chief. Remember, Rick Binnersley, teammate last season with Jim. This year he's got a new teammate. James Mead will be driving for the crew chief Megacorps Works team. In practice, no surprise to see James once again showing Jim exactly the pace to set in that Audi R8 that they're driving. In fact, James has been one of the quickest drivers out there this pre-qualifying, so all jokes aside to Jim, car is very quick, and James's teammate I think may have superseded the contract that Rick was offered, and will be allowed to run in front of Jim unless Jim can pull something out of the bag. You can see there just how much the car struggles through those S's. Watching a few guys on track, what I have learned is that you don't push it too hard through there. It is a case of finesse rather than brute strength until you get out on the straight, and that's where you really begin to push. So Jim Britton, James Mead driving for the crew chief Megacorp Works team in that Audi R8. Next team up, mainstays of the RRL fraternity, Jack Caminetto and Radek Pavlicek. You may remember that Jack and Radek came home 1 and 2 in race 5 last year at Paradigm Shift at Mount Panorama. That's what I was trying to say. Those two brought their Lamborghini home 1 and 2 this year, driving in the Audi R8. So Jack's not on track yet. Let's see if we can see him in the pits. Let's try again, shall we, to do the old creative photography. Oh, and there he is. There we go. He managed to get it in the end. Just go down a bit and get a good sight. There we go. Distinctive colours of the Paradigm Shift team. Radek, unfortunately, not here today. He had other duties today at Monza for the F1 race, so he won't be racing today. So unfortunately, Jack's here on his own. You may think that's a McLaren, but actually it's not. That is an Audi R8, although that's a pretty cool mashup there, isn't it? Perhaps Audi and McLaren can get together and see if they can produce something. Yeah, that's making my eyes go funny. Let's get away from that and see what else we can find. Let's have a look. Team WRT, De Kaiser and Deprataire. You may remember Bram took season 4. Let's see if I can find Bram on the. In fact, there's Almeida. Let's have a look at that. Not out on track. The guys will be going through a team briefing shortly. Sorry, a driver briefing shortly, so you may not get to see, but we'll try again with the old photography. Let's see if we can get this one right. That's better. And gets his own slot. So there's the WRT. Lovely, nice, clean livery. Bram in practice has been very, very quick, along with James Mead. Those two names pretty much stand out. So expect to see that livery at the front. Almeida as well. No slouch. You may remember in the Porsche Cup races 2 seasons ago. Front runner in that championship as well. So look out for that livery. Coming soon to a screen near you. Who have we got next? Grizzly Racing, Max Beyer and Sev Lansley. Again, Max, a couple of seasons ago in the Porsche Cup, you may remember. Very, very good driver. Those guys currently in the, or currently will be in the season in the Nissan GTR. Let's see if we can find Sev or Max. so many drivers on track, it's difficult to get in there. There we go. So it's actually on track. See if we can find a decent TV cam of him. There we go, in that lovely GTR. You can see Grizzly on the side. Although I've got to say, it looks like a decent cappuccino from here. It's just calling the cappuccino Nissan. Actually a really nice colour scheme. So I expect to see Max and Sev fighting out as well. Both very good drivers, and that Nissan, no slouch around here either. Well, no slouch around anywhere really, so keep an eye out for those guys. Two more stalwarts of the RR League scene. Rick Binnersley, we mentioned, won at Spa last year in the crew chief car. This year driving along with Andre Bergsma for BB Racing. Rick in the pits currently. I'm guessing a lot of them will be coming in now as they come in for their driver briefing, so a lot of them will be away. See if I can find Andre Bergsma. Bergsma out on track. There he is. Very distinctive BMW M4 there for BB Racing. You can see in the memories of DTM 1992. Any Tic Tac colours there. Say Bergsma and Binnersley in that car. For those two in that very distinctive livery. M4's been struggling around COTA for pace, from what I can see. Arella earlier, who we missed, we'll go back to find Ralph's livery later, but Ralf Arella, 8-time champion, really been struggling in practice, so the M4 has its work cut out around here despite being a quick car. So Bergsma and Binnersley, as I say, will be fighting hard today to bring that car through the field. Next up, Melania and Jazz, Malovic and Forsberg, riding for SRT. Let's see if those guys are on track. Jazz and Nemanja. We'll come back to those guys. They're currently, I can't see them in server, so we'll come back to those guys shortly. Next up, good friends Andre Moll and Jody Barraclough for Strive Motorsport. Let's see if we can find Jody. These guys will probably be in the pits waiting for the driver briefing. Always good livery designers, these two. Expect to see a lovely looking car here. There you go, look at that. Strive Motorsport M4. You can see from the graphic Andre here in the green accented car. Jody in a very striking black, red and white car. Saw that on track earlier. Very nice looking car. Just hope Andre has a little bit better luck than he's had over previous seasons. Very good driver, Andre, but not the luckiest in the world. So fingers crossed for Andre that he gets a bit of luck this year in that M4. Right, who have we got next? Well, here's a bit of history for you. Miguel Santiago Carew and Robert Horvath. United Racers League was the start of RR Leagues back in the day, and if you don't know the story, have a look down in our YouTube channel and you'll see a podcast that we did a few months back where Robert, let's see if we can find Robert on track. I'm talking while Andre's on, there we go, there's Robert on track. I did a podcast a few months back where we spoke about the start of RR Leagues, both Si Finnegan and Robert Horvath telling us where it all started, and United Racers League where it all began. Miguel Santiago Carew, Robert Horvath there. And you can see very clever graphics on the side of the car depicting the RRL logo in the green. Very clever. Let's see if we can, in fact, you know what, it deserves a little bit of, in fact, there you go, you'll see as you come around the corner here. Let's look on the left wing. There's the RRL and that green swoops over the car. Very clever livery. Looks lovely in the duo green colour there, that Aston Martin. Miguel, very quick driver. Also Robert Horvath, remembering the Lamborghini last time out in GT3 Masters 5. I seem to remember him Paul Ricard going very, very well there, but I think the strategy just did for him. So yeah, watch out for Miguel and Robert, and like I said, good to see these guys on track. Just a little bit of history for RRL, and it's so nice to see, so good to see those guys in. Now we come to the TSR contingent. We'll start off with, I like to say, as the TSR Davidoff team, Ian Paskin and Sam Cockayne. Ian's in the pit, so we'll do our trick again. And the Transatlantic Sim Racing McLaren of Ian Paskin and Sam Cockayne. Lovely Gulf liveried McLaren. Very nice, with the Davidoff sponsorship. Good luck to both Ian and Sam. They've got their own little personal rivalry in team, so it'll be good to see those guys fighting it out. That's Ian Paskin, Sam Cockayne in the McLaren, TSR McLaren. Next we've got TSR, what I like to call the Colonel team. TSR McLaren of Arben Nushi and Sander Hunzig. Let's just see if we can find those guys. You may know Xander in another world as Wacky Teddy from TSR. I think there's two cars in there again, unfortunately. But you can see from the graphics there, the pink and black McLaren kind of offset by the the blue one there. In fact, let's see, can we find that's Xander's car? Can we find Arben's car? He was in there earlier. I saw him in the server earlier. Just talk amongst yourselves for a second. Can't seem to find Arben Nushi in there, although I know he's about. So, but yeah, the pink McLaren there of the TSR team of Nushi and Hunzig. Let's just find TSR tag team, as I like to call them, Vanema and Philip Clark. Phil Clark's been very quick in practice. I can't find those guys. Where's Phil Clark? There's Phil in the pits. Oh. You can see why I call them the tag team. In that McLaren with the very distinctive old historic Marlboro tag colours, very distinctive on track. Should be easy to see that one and pick that one out. Say Phil Clark and Richard Vanema. And indeed Arben from the other TSR team, teamed up in the previous series. This time they've split up. But that's not a McLaren, is it? It's an, yeah, I'm going to say that's an NSX, isn't it? I see Marlboro and think of McLaren, but no, it's actually a, yeah, it's just called, yeah, the tag team. I'm going to call it a Marlboro McLaren at some point, aren't I? But there we go. That's the TSR team of Vanema and Clark. On to the SCB guys. SCB Boatley. No wondering what car these guys are going to be driving. Norway Nick Campbell and Walt Graves. Let's see if we can find those guys out there. In the khaki green army looking Bentley. Very stealthy. Expect to see that one on track or not, as the case may be. I've looked at it on stream. It's quite a difficult car to pick up because it's not quite black and it's not quite green. But anyway, very distinctive again. With that white, just seems to need like the old USAF logo on it, and it would sit really nicely, I think. Anyway, that's Norway Nick. And Walt there will be driving that distinctive looking Bentley. Very CB. Okay, SCB Orange. Good friend Pavel Bogdan and Tommy Kosten. Let's see if we can find those guys. Where is Pavel? In fact, there's Tommy. Let's go to Tommy's car. Where is that? I keep saying distinctive, but all these liveries are pretty distinctive. The Ferrari there in the appears to be the SCB green. I've got them down as an orange livery on the graphics there, but that certainly isn't orange, is it? That is a green and orange SCB car there. But still, there we go. Tommy and Pavel will be racing in that Ferrari for SCB Orange. Next up, the OF Racing team of Timo Siska, Matthew Rademacher, and we're just going to qualifying. I'll try not to rush through this because we'll have a little bit of time to go. It's just going to qualifying, and you can see it's nice and dark, isn't it? Let's get a view. Who are we looking at? Timo, that's right. At least we'll get to see them out on track now, I guess. There's Timo Siska, there he is. They've been told off in their driver briefing, no doubt, into turn one. Be careful. And there's the OnlyFans OF Racing team there of Timo Siska and Matthew Rademacher just going out for qualifying. McLaren looking quite resplendent, blue and orange. Great job of these liveries they've done, and if you weren't around earlier in the week, we did do a livery launch week where all the guys had a chance to show off their liveries to all the competitors. McLaren there of OF Racing looking very, very nice. Good luck to Timo and good luck to Matty. So walking to GT3 Masters 7. Next up, the two JJ Racing teams. Ladislav Babarak and Lucas Ehrlich. Let's see if we can find those guys on track. Come on, where are you? Stephen in the server at the moment. Oh, there we go. There he is. Apologies. Let's get in and have a, can we get a decent look at this car? A helicam view. Let's again. There we go, the JJ Racing team. Very similar, close to that Porsche we looked at for JJ Racing last season. You can see team this time running a McLaren. I'll say the team. There's two JJ Racing teams. By the way they're named, it would appear that this one is their best chance of racing, given the naming of the other one. There you go. Hop onto jjracingteam.cz. Information on those guys. Expect to see those guys ahead of their teammate. In fact, we're just going out on track now with Ladislav. So that's JJ Racing, and JJ Racing 2, who've unfortunately called themselves JJ Slow-Mo, is Peter Naziba and Ladislav Toth. Remember them from GT3 Masters 5. Excellent drivers, just from the fact and point that they were so good under blue flags and stuff when some of the quick drivers are coming through. And I don't mean that to sound horrible to those that they were at the back, but when they were overtaken under blue flags, they were fantastic. Here is Ladislav. Let's see if we can get a better picture there. These guys in the R8, again a very similar colour scheme. The team of Toth and Naziba, as I say, apparently second string, but we'll wait and see. Wait and see how that works out. But there's Peter and Ladislav in their R8. Next up, the smooth sailing Bentley of Christian Groot and Marvin Mackenberg. There is Marvin. Apparently, well, it's in. I'm not going to apologise because it's dark, but you can't really get to see these liveries in all their glory. It's the standard Bentley livery for Christian and Marvin. That grey and green seen throughout. On different racetracks, but that's what Christian and Marvin will be riding. In chat earlier, Christian was hoping to get into the top 5, and saw some of the times in practice which were, even for me, off the charts. So yeah, Christian Groot, we'll wait and see if he can make it into the top 5, but we'll see. And Marvin, I don't know too much about Marvin, rookie in the series, so I'll wait and see what Marvin's got to offer. A few decent times in practice, so yeah, strong team, Christian Groot and Marvin Mackenberg. We'll wait and see what they can provide for us. Next up, VSB Racing, Yves Van Sand and Mark Bosman. Not the Mark Bosman. I don't think it's the Mark Bosman anyway. Who knows? But they're in the M4. It's a lovely livery this when you see it in the light. Half and half colours, looking very nice in, that's like a cyan, gold and black car, but a very, very nice colouring scheme for those guys. That's VSB Racing, Yves Van Sand and Mark Bosman. I did say we'd go back to Team 77 because we didn't get a chance to look at Ralf earlier, did we? So let's go to Fillingham and Ralf Arella. There you go. Look at that, lovely. Look at all those stars. That's how many championships Ralf has under his belt. He's going to need a new car or bigger doors if he carries on. And there is a story behind that logo. If you drop into our Discord, details on our website, you can see exactly what that's all about. But that car, as always, delivery of the Team 77 guys, very resplendent. Expect to see that in a few windscreens as we go through the series. Team 77, Fillingham and Arella. And just before we finish, I said there's 20 teams but 44 drivers. We've got a few independents. Ruud Dennis, Dusan Magyar, stalwarts again of the RR League community. Can we find Ruud on here? Where is Ruud Dennis? One of the hardest working staff members that we have, and indeed Ruud is Right, so a bit of a graphic designer. I can say thank you to him for all the graphics you can see on screen. Rude responsible for the vast majority of those. And you can see that lovely red and white Nissan GTR in very striking colours. Guessing Rude's going for some kamikaze moves. But we'll wait and see. Good luck to Rude in the series. And also Dusan Magyar. Let's see if we can find Dusan. Was in the NSX last year, or last season rather. This time running around in the Mercedes AMG. You can just see that in the twilight. Race time here, 2100 hours. So hence why it's dark. The track will be cold as well. So Dusan Magyar there in the Mercedes. And who else have we got finally? Last but not least, how can we forget Burak Kunt and Nicholas Wicklander? Yeah, you almost got me, I know. Where is Nicholas? He's in the pits, just coming out in that distinctive red and blue Ferrari. Customer team, so he's actually in the old pre-Evo Ferrari by his choice. So Nicholas putting himself at a disadvantage, so we'll wait to see what happens there in that old car. And Burak, who's also a rookie, not saying Nicholas is, but we've had a few rookies so far. Burak is a rookie with us. He's out on track, there he is. Thanks to Martijn Kennens in chat for everything, including the spotters guide. You can see that there's a link to that in chat if you want to pull that up so you can get all these liveries for you. But I noticed Burak's been in a few team channels with Bram and Armado, so as I say, we'll wait to see what Burak's got to offer. A rookie, but obviously on the roster of some good teams, so we'll wait to see. It does look like it's a standard livery. I think the Richard Mille livery on that McLaren hasn't come through the Petronas livery, so we'll work on that and we'll see if we can get that sorted out for the next race. But it should be in a Petronas livery. I don't think that's quite come through on that car. Obviously the sticker man couldn't get to America in time. So anyway, that's that. Let's clear all those off. Let's give you an idea of some of the things we've got for you this season to help you follow the race along. You'll see we've got a ticker going across the top. That's for the drivers and the gaps, and give you positions. That should be able to help you as long as the TV tower down the side to give you an idea. The ticker will give you the gaps, and the tower will give you relatives. We've also got a few little specials for you, as you can see. Said he. We've got a little lap time log, which will give you an idea in qualifying of people's lap times. Currently Bram out in front. 8 minutes to go. You can see there 205.832 duplicated twice, and then runs out and does a 205.7 on his last lap. Personal session best there for Bram, currently leading the timesheets. Cliff Bulcke, intense racing, and you can see his times there. A couple of out laps, or pit laps rather, and then a couple of flyers. Main one being that 205.8 there on his fourth tour around the circuit. Mado de Kaiser there in third. Yeah, thanks Martijn. I think we'll have to do a livery check on Burak's car just to see where we are. So here we go. Should we go on a lap with somebody who's out and just about to start a lap? Phil Clark is going round. Just going through turn one. Let's go on board. Hey, Phil, can we get the There we go. You can see many of these drivers practicing in the daytime. You can see Phil getting caught up in the S's. I think he's just making himself some space. He realises he's got a car in front of him there. Phil just taking it easy on this route. So who else is up so far? Well, Mado's on a quick one. Just coming down to the long straight here. Oh no, it's not. I thought it was. He just finished the long straight. And now going through the second part of the circuit. And he gives up on that lap. Back to the pits. Bram on a quick one. Coming up against some traffic. You notice Bram's car's got the McDonald's sign on the front. Almeida doesn't have that, I don't believe. We'll check and see. Bram just come from some traffic here, but he's going to get a nice tow down the straight as he comes over the finish line. 2:05.7. And was that not a quick? I'm surprised he didn't leave himself a bit of room there, Bram, because now he's right behind another car. I'm not sure that's really going to help him. Cliff Bulcke just starting a lap. Let's go on the bonnet cam. Give you an idea of what the driver sees at the fly splats. You can see just how gentle he is on the throttle through many of the corners. Really not hammering it through there. You may think you can just swoosh through there. You watch 2 minutes F1 racing, you think it's nice and flat out basic through there, but very similar to the S's at Silverstone, which I think it was actually drew its inspiration from that section of the track. Not quite as easy as it looks. And now onto the long straight. Almost said straight away, getting into my American theme there. Down the back straight. Coming up to turn 12. Through another tight, twisty part of the circuit. Go right, and it'll go left. And left again. And then they start a big right-hand horseshoe through 4 corners that kind of go into one. You can see 1, 2, 3, and this is a 4th corner here as well. And down to the notorious turn 19, run wide there, your lap is deleted. I think Cliff's just given up on that one and he's going to start a 2nd lap. So Cliff Bulcke onto it again. So Deprataire, Bulcke, De Kaiser, Dhoore, James Mead there in 5th. Max Beyer, Evenson, Sond, Mackenberg up to 8th, Arella 9th, Ralf Arella. As I said, that M4 really struggling around Cup. What a beautiful shot that is. You can see nothing, but a lovely shot of all the cars in the dark coming down the straight. Ralf Arella there in the middle. Trying to get up through the field. I didn't really manage that one fly. There's a couple of attempts in the 207s, one down in the 206.5s. So I'll keep an eye on Ralf Arella. Let's have a look down the other end of the grid. Andre Molt. Strive at Motorsport car. Get it right, Martin. Strive at Motorsport. 2:10.5 there on lap 3, and then I think he must have run into a little bit of traffic on the other laps, because you can see just hasn't pulled out the time on the last 3 tours. But yeah, Rude, you're right, it is busy out there. A lot of cars. Andre gives up on that lap, down in 36 for Andre Mol. Who else is out there? Nick Campbell. In the Boatley team. CB Boatley, there you go, there's that dark green Bentley. Told you it was stealthy, you wouldn't see that tonight if it wasn't for the lights, would you? Proper bank robber's car. Uncan Norway Nick Rob off the timesheets today. Currently sat 29th, 3.2 off Deprataire's pace. Gap of half a second to Coaston just above him in that Ferrari, so a big gap for Nick to make up. And then you can see that Gagler drivers from 29th down, all within a couple of tenths of each other. So racing right the way through the grid. Thanks, Clive. Hit the like button. That's right, yeah, if you're enjoying this, hit the like button. If you're not enjoying it, hit it twice. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And then for our next 6 races following this one, you'll get straight to the stream when it kicks off, so you miss nothing. B&B race, or sorry, BB Racing. There's a car you can actually see in the dark. Andre Bergsma, currently around in 23rd. With a 2:07.7 set early on in the session. You're right, Martine. Four Belgians topping the timesheets. Deprataire, Bulcke, Dhoore and De Keyser. They have invaded the server. And expect to see those names up there quite often. I wonder how many disqualified laps we're having around COTA today. As I say, track limits really do take their toll here. So there's been a number of quick laps, I should imagine, that have been deleted due to track limits. And there'll be a few stories being told as they line up for the grid. Sev Lansley crosses the line. The first one to do so. Timing's up. You want on a lap out there? Wacky Teddy is. Zonda having a fly around in that pink. It is a pink McLaren. See, it's not an Audi. It's a pink McLaren. He's managed to extract it out of the arse end of an R8. And currently 3/10 up on this lap. Currently sitting 12th. If he carries on at 3/10, he might just pit Robert Horvath in 9th. But he's got that Cappuccino Nissan in front of him, who's also flying along there. I don't think that's Max Beyer. Who is that? I think that actually might be Sev Lansley as it goes. So, Wacky Teddy lost a couple of tenths. He's going to be up on this lap. I don't know if it's going to be enough to push him up. 2:06.8. You can see they're just half a tenth or so off his best time of a 2:06.7. So there's your grid. De Keyser put in a cracking lap there at the end with a 2:05.4. And there we go. The sun's come out. De Keyser, Deprataire leading the way up in front there. WRT team locking out the grid. Bulcke and Dhoore take 3rd and 4th for intense racing. But you know what, let's see if we can get a better view of the grid. Excuse me while this goes a bit crazy. Here we go, and we'll try and travel down the grid. So yes, there's the two cars of the WRT team of De Keyser and Deprataire, first and second. Bulcke and Dhoore for Intense Racing, third and fourth. James Mead there for the crew chief team in fifth. Ralf Arella in his BMW M4 up to sixth. Struggle for Ralph today, but he's up to sixth. Beyer there in seventh in the first of the Nissan for Grizzly Racing. Max Beyer, good racing from him. Yves Ensond there in eighth. Horvath in ninth for URL. Jim Britton up to 10th. Good performance from Jim. Crew chief Megacorp's work team in the top 10, both cars. Mackenberg there in 11th. Wacky Teddy in 12th. Phil Clark in 13th for the Honda tag team and TSR tag team. Miguel Santiago Carew there in 14th. Second driver for the RRL team. Christian Groot there in 15th, not 5th as he thought, down there in 15th. That'll be a wake-up call, as it will be for Jack Camiletto, winner in our last series around Bathurst. Finds himself in 16th on the grid in his R8 here at Cota. Just behind him, Cy Fillingham, second half of Team 77, with Ian Paskin on his outside. Bosman and Lansley round out your top 20 there, 19th and 20. And just scroll down to bring up. Oh, apologies. We're going to run out of time here, aren't we? Kunt and Binnersley, Bergsma and Vanemi you can see there in shot.
20 seconds.
Kostner and Baraklov, Bogdan and Naziba. Campbell, Nushi, Cocaine, Manojlovic, Magyar, Dennis, Wicklander and Moll. Ladislav Toth, Timo Siska, Dvorak, Walt Graves and Matty Rademacher brings up the rear in the OF team car. So they'll go around on a warm-up lap. In fact, Almeida already away, leading them out on their sighter lap. You can see De Keyser's car there. In fact, there's a group at Derob logo on the front. Bram in second there with McDonald's livery, just so you can depict the two cars. You can see just behind him Cliff Bulcke and David Dhoore in the Intense Racing colours. Mead, Arella, Beyer, Yves von Sand, Horvath, Britton, Mackenberg. Unfortunately, Martin can't get back in the server. He is our red flag man. So let's just hope turn one's good. Remember, for red flag, it's got to be a significant incident involving most of the field that causes, or either or a mass disconnection that will cause a restart, and it only be on lap 1. So we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed that all these guys look after themselves. So go back down through the field. Jim Britton just coming through. Do. Don't need the relatives anymore, so we'll get rid of that lap time log. There's Jim Britton. Miguel just coming through there for URL. Good Good luck to Miguel. 111. Lovely number to have. And couldn't back there. We need to sort that livery out for Bern. We must remember to add that to our to-do list. Peter and Zeba down there for JJ Racing. The slow-mos. Bless him. Ivan Nushi in the McLaren. That really bright pink McLaren. Teammate Phil Clark. Where is teammate Phil Clark? Up there in 13th. We're just going around now to line up 2 by 2. Here we go. De Kaiser, Deprataire. Line up across the line. First and second. Coming up to the final corner. Keep a standard 60k, or is it 80k? Might be 80 kilometres per hour. Up to the line. 2 by 2 they go. Watch out for the green lights as they cross the line, providing everyone's in place. It looks like they are. Come across the checkered flag, or checkered line rather. There you go, lights are green, away they go. De Kaiser, Deprataire, Bulcke and Dhoore. Up to turn 1 we go. Let's get a helicam shot of this. The 2 of them going deep, and that's just allowed. The crew chief car of James Mead up to 3rd. Wow, fantastic driving from James Mead. A few incidents back in the field. In fact, it's quite a big one there. See if we can find them further down the field. There's a few yellow flags. Timo Siska involved. Who else is involved? It seems to be going. Miguel Santiago Carew looks like he was involved as well. Let's have a look and just see if we can see what happened. Come on, ACC, you can do it. Oh, you see, already cars off at that stage. And again, nudges here, there and everywhere as they try and get through the S's. 40 cars. Not happening. But they're all going in certain form. See if I can find something a little bit further back. Get up to the front of the field while all this is happening. So you can watch the action up there as I try and find exactly what happened at turn 1. In fact, there's a few contacts even before they got to the front, further on down the grid. A few little nudges here and there, but I think the main action happened, a 4-car incident involving Cliff Bulcke. Cliff Bulcke down to 11th. There is Cliff Bulcke. Let's see what happened there. So into turn 1. There's a slight nudge in the back there, but seems to get away with that. Oh, and then he just got nudged there. You can just see that. Just got a nudge. Unfortunately, ACC not giving us the view of that. But that's put Cliff Bulcke down to 11th. Last GT3 Masters champion. All the way down there. He's got some room to make up. However, in front, De Kaiser still leads Deprataire from James Mead, David Dhoore, Max Beyer, Ralf Arella, Ivan signed up to 7th, Britton up to 8th, Wacky Teddy up to 9th, Camet up to 10th, Bulcke dropping all the way down to 11th, as we said, Bosman's 12th, Binners is 13th, from Manojlovic, Barraclough up to 15th, great driver from Jody Barraclough, he's up there in 15th, chasing down Manojlovic, Horvath in 16th, Coaston 17th, Baborak 18th, Andre Moll up to 19th in the sister car to Jody Barraclough, Strive Motorsport having a good start there. Maybe Andre's Moll's luck's changed. Timo Siska's 20th. Mackenberg and Santiago Carew 21 and 22. Vaniba, Nasiba, Dennis, Christian Grote all the way down there in 26th. Car number 107. He's had an incident. Let's have a look at that. Here is Christian Grote there. What happened to Christian? Let's have a look. Meters up at turn 1. ACC hasn't quite picked up the incident that mustn't have happened further on through the S's, because that's where it all kicked off by the looks of it. No doubt we'll look at that in the highlights after the race. But still, De Kaiser leads Deprataire, Mead, Dhoore. There is David Dhoore. Beyer, Arella. He's Von Sond. Jim Britton, Wacky Teddy, Jack Cavaletto up to 10th. Bulcke, Bosman, Binnersley, Manojlovic, Barraclough, Horvath, Kosonen, Laborak, Moore and Mackenberg. There's your top 20. Let's see if we can get a slightly more cinematic race view than that helicam shot. So it's still tight between the top 10. There's a little bit of a gap after Binnersley in 13th, Barraclough in 14th, but those top 14 or so, it's a slight gap between Cavaletto and Britton. But still, all pretty much having it out, and then you can see behind the back there, stream of cars, all close together. There they go. Dhoore right on the back now of James Mead. So they go down the straight. That's what half a second looks like. Door closed up through this very technical part of the track here. You can see in front, De Kaiser and Deprataire just starting to eke out that lead. The second separates 1, 2 and 3, and then Dhoore nice and close in on James Mead. But as they start, fourth lap, De Kaiser goes through from Deprataire, Mead and Dhoore there go through 3rd and 4th, Arella's 5th, Bayer's 6th. Let's have a look at that battle back there. There is Ralf and Max. He's Von Son just behind them, and Jim Britton as well in close attendance. You can see just behind them as well, Britton, Cavaletto. There's a gap of 3.5 seconds back to Cliff Bulcke, who's got past Wacky Teddy now. Miguel Santiago crew up to 21st following that bad start. Got involved in some of the mess back there. Sev Lanzi back in 26th as well, not good for him. Another incident for Christian Grote, I can see. Can't get a replay of that, unfortunately. Christian now back there in 23rd. Up front though, still De Kaiser. Deprataire just closing it down now. Just opened up the gap on James Mead as Bram, as he tries to keep that gap to Almeida within a second. Two teammates battling it out for the first 15 minutes. Through they go. De Kaiser, Deprataire, fastest lap of the race for him. James Mead, David Dhoore, Ralf Arella. Those three come through together. Those two. Just go and have a look at James Mead. Dhore's dropped a place there. It looks like. Mead, no, it's sorry, Mead, Dhoore. So his back marker stuck in the traffic there. I wonder what it was. But no, James Mead still with David Dhoore. A gap then to Arella. 2.4 seconds. Arella from Beyer, Hughes van Sond, Jim Britton, and Camaletto. Those guys in close attendance. There is Jack. In front of him, Jim Britton, and you can see the cars going through there. Hughes van Sond, Max Beyer and Ralf Arella. All very close indeed. So De Keyser is Deprataire from Mead and Dhoore. And the battle we're watching here from Arella, Beyer, van Sond, Britton and Camaletto. Camaletto at the back of that train. A gap in 3.5 seconds to Cliff Bulcke. He's pulled out a bit of a gap then over Wacky Teddy in that pink McLaren. Penalties up to 12th. Bosman 13th. Barrow Club now to 14th. Nemanovic. Nemanja up to 15th. Robert Horvath. And through for URL down there in 16th. Kosnan, Baborak. Andre Mol to 19th. He's got Mackenberg just behind him. Again, a story to tell for those two guys. Andre good and Matty not so good, I should imagine. Christian Groet just behind him in 21st, so two teammates there together. Peter Naziba 22nd for JJ Racing. Santiago Carew, Vanima, Rude Dennis down there in 25th. That deserves a better shot, didn't it, that car? Rude Dennis down there in 25th. Sev Lansley just behind him in 26th. What a great start of the race for him. Walt Graves as well, back there in 27th. And then looks like some of the guys that have had to stop. So Timo Siska's not been in, as has Ladislav Toth. Ian Paskin finds himself down there in 30th. He won't be happy with that. Kunt has been into the pits already in his McLaren. So obviously it must have had some damage. He's been in and stopped. Sam Cocaine, Fillingham out down there in 33rd. He's had a bit of a nightmare. Pavel Bogdan, Norway, Nick Campbell's stopped already. Wickland at Bergsmark down there in 37th. Magyar, Phil Clark, Rademacher and Arbanushi. Rademacher, both of those guys in the pits. 3 laps down. There is Nushi still having repairs carried out. It looks like Rademacher's parked up and done. Unfortunate for him. Looks like he's out of the race, but we'll keep an eye on that anyway. Benushi having his stop carried out, so that's those guys. Up front though, De Keyser now puts in the fastest lap of the race and pulls out around a second on Bram Deprataire, but they have, we can see in the background, have really started to pull away now from James Mead. David Dhoore. Arella in 5th, Max Beyer 6th, Van Sand, Britton, Camaletto and Bulcke up to 10th now. Those guys climb their way back through the field. Sorry about that, guys. We seem to have a bit of an issue. My literally PC just went bang. I thought the PSU had gone, but it hasn't. Just give us a second. We'll try and get back up. So talk amongst yourselves. Apologies about this. We'll try and get back as soon as we can.
Green light, give it all you can.
Sorry about that, guys. We are back with you. I must admit, I thought we were going to have some issues in because everything just went black. I was waiting for the smell of burning from the PSU, but it didn't come. And we're back live, so we're all good for now. What's happened since? Let's have a look. Deprataire now got ahead of Armado, so we've missed that. Banging. Sorting some bits and pieces out. I'll try and get straight where we were. So Deprataire, De Kaiser, James Mead's still ahead of Dhoore. Arella's up to fifth. Oh, sorry, Arella is fifth from Beyer, Van Sand, Britton, Camaletto, and Bulcke. So not much has changed actually up there, which is good. So yeah, sorry guys, we are back. Thanks for sticking around with us. So Deprataire, De Kaiser, Mead, Dhoore, Arella, Beyer, Van Sand, Britton, Camaletto, Bulcke. Wacky Teddy there 11th, Bindersy 12th, Bosman's up to 13th, Barrow, Clough, Milojevic and Horvath still 15th, 16th, Coaston 17th, Mackenberg, Christian Groh up to 19th now, Babarak, Moll, Naziba, Miguel Santiago Carew there as well. So apologies gentlemen and ladies. There we go. And relax. Cliff Bulcke just got past Jack Camaletto. Nice move from Cliff Bulcke there. Moves himself up to 9th as he tries to get back through the field after his terrible start. Camaletto trying desperately to get back on with Bulcke though. This is a view from Camaletto's car. He's got ahead of Bulcke. Fuck's sake. Excuse my language. Where are we? There we go. So, Cliff Bulcke and Jack Camaletto having a good old tussle. Jack's managed to get back up to 9th. Cliff Bulcke slips back down to 10th. All that hard work. Quick through the S's there, Bulcke in that. Aston Martin, the R8 of Camaletto hugging that curb as they come down to turn 11. Wide turn into the straight. Bulcke goes wide looking for the cutback. Camaletto wide on wise to that, but I think Bulcke just run that in too deep. And Jack's now got half a second on Cliff. He's going to have to make that up all over again. He's Van Sand has got past Ralf Arella. I don't often say that. Not a response to you, it is, but not many people get past Ralf Arella, but you've done it cleanly and you're through. Nice racing, and they're still at it as well. Further down the field, Naziba and Molt have had a coming together. Let's have a look at that one. Oh, late dive into turn 1 from Naziba. If he's given that place back to Andre, I'm not sure, but oh, and a two of them have had it. No, that was a server glitch. Oh my god, what's happening? Come back, Elizabeth. I nearly slept under Charles. But just behind Andre Molt, Sev Lansley, Miguel Santiago Carew and Peter Naziba, all fighting over 22nd position back there in front of the Molt. So those four go across the line almost together. Carew took a lot of speed there through turn 1. That's got him on a good run on Peter Naziba. And as he got through, too many artistic camera angles unfortunately, and not very many informative ones. That might be a better shot. Naziba still ahead of Santiago Carew. Up front you can see on the ticker Deprataire still leads from De Keyser. Mead now 5 seconds back in 3rd. David Dhoore in 4th. Max Beyer there in 5th. Yves Van Sand in 6th. Arella, Britton, Bulcke and Camaletto. Cliff Bulcke now past Camaletto and away. Lansley and Santiago Carew having a little rub going down the straight. Lansley gets the better of that one. Santiago Carew has a look around the outside into this tight left-hander. But tucks in behind. So those guys, 5 of them in a row. Lansley, Santiago Carew, Naziba, Molt and looks like that's Babarak ahead of them. All together. And a big gap and up to Christian Grote in 19th. Andre Molt looking around the outside. Of Naziba, couldn't get it done. You can have a look up the straight onto the start-finish straight. Oh. Santiago Carew in tight there on Sev Lansley. But there's a good draft for all of them. Andre Molt again being attacked up the inside. This time Sev Lansley shows how you back out of that. Brakes hard and allows Molt the corner. Drive through for Babarak there. Ladislav Babarak. I'm calling Lucas, sorry, Ladislav. The JJ Racing Team 1. Track limits, the first person to suffer from those, I think. Babarak looked like he might have let Naziba through there. Do you have an issue going through that corner? No. If there's a bit of team orders there before the JJ Racing team. But certainly seems like Naziba's got past Babarak there. Oh, in deep. The Nissan of Sev Lansley. Oh, has a nudge. Oh, Santiago Carew, and then finds himself. Unfortunately, he missed a. He did right to get out of the late break down the straight. And unfortunately, when he came back on track, just nudged Miguel Santiago Carew, and his Nissan bounced off him like an elastic band off track. So That means Sev Lansley will have some catching up to do. An interesting little battle between all these guys here. As I should imagine, Ladislav is about to come in for his drive through. No, he's going to go through for another lap. Up front, there's the two leaders. Bram and Amado still close together. That looks like less than a second to me. You can see down in the relative down below. Half a second. That's what that looks like. And they are coming up on traffic. A lot of traffic. Deprataire from De Keyser. That big old Bentley there. Get a few blue flags, but there's not really many places you can let a car go through around here. They're nearly at the start finish straight, so that might be the next best place for them to let through. There's CB Boatley. Lets the leader through. And we'll let second place man Amado De Keyser through as well, I should imagine, at the end of the straight. Blue flags you can see there waving. And indeed, the Bentley lets second place man Amado De Keyser through. So, go blue flag driving there. That's just one car of many for De Keyser and Deprataire to make their way through. Mead 4 seconds back now, 3.5 back in third. As always the case, the leaders woken the back markers up to let them know they're coming through. The OF car there just taking to the curb to get out of the way of second place man. Again, nice driving from the OF team driver there. James Mead has closed that gap down by about 1.5 seconds. Thanks to the prior advance warning of the leaders going through. So Deprataire leads De Keyser by that much, you can see on screen there. James Mead, David Dhoore, Max Beyer, Yves Van Sond, Ralf Arella, Jim Britton, Cliff Bulcke and Camaletto. That's your top 10. All of those guys in with contention. One pit stop covers them all. Mikey Teddy just 2 seconds behind Camaletto in 11th, and there's a gap then back to Binnersley for BB Racing in 12th, Bosman in 13th, Barraclup 14th, good race for him, Horvath 15th, Manojlovic 16th, Kosonen, Mackenberg, Grote, Naziba, Babarak still to take that drive through, Andre Moll and Santiago Carew having that battle. In fact, Santiago Carew in for his stop. With 58 minutes to go of a 1 hour 30 minute race. And we'll have to stop. Thanks to all you guys watching and around in chat for hanging on in there through the disruption. I think with so many different apps and things, I think we're pushing even a 3090 as much as it can. But we're trying to give you the best experience we can. At the back, James Mead, has he got through the back markers? He has, as has David Dhoore. So Deprataire, De Keyser, Mead and Dhoore. Those four. Just one car between the front two and third and fourth now. But James Mead gap back down now to 4.5 seconds, which is where we were prior to the back marker interlude. Oh, James Mead just getting squirrely, just trying to take too much out of that curb, threw the car off. That's just allowed David Dhoore to sneak up on his tail. So they come down to turn 11 and onto the straight they go. This is the view from David Dhore's car. James Mead in front. These two 6 seconds ahead of Max Beyer there in 5th. Dhoore getting that car slowed down brilliantly there on the brakes and through using the gearbox. really pushing James Mead here. Teammate Cliff Bulcke right on the back of Jim Britton as well. In fact, side by side with Jim Britton. Jim Britton keeps the space though. Showing Cliff a lot of respect there and a lot of space given. Cliff takes it, but those two battling out. Camionetto, you can just see back there, still in this, in 10th. Wacky Teddy's just lost a little bit of time there. 3.6 seconds now off the back of Camionetto. And then a 7-second gap to Binnersley in 12th. And he's got Mark Bosman right behind him. Again, Bulcke just nudges. Oh, look, it's all got a bit tidy. And thank you very much, says Jack Camionetto. Sneaks his way through. Jack Camionetto's up to 8th. Britton 9th. Wacky Teddy's taking advantage of that. Look at that, up to 10th. And Cliff Bulcke's little nudge has put him down now to 11th. Although Cliff Bulcke's going to have a look up the inside of Wacky Teddy. Teddy looking to take the cut back on Bulcke. And they're going to go side by side through 2. So, although I said Wacky Teddy was 3.6 seconds off, not anymore. Although, taking drives like that, they're going to struggle. Andre Mole there getting caught up in it as well. I'll be glad to get out of the way of them lot. Looks like the OF Racing team there as well, making sure he doesn't get in the way. So, nice blue flag driving, if a little bit excessive from those guys. As they go down to the straight, Jack Camionetto took advantage of that misdemeanor from Cliff Bulcke. So 8, 9 and 10 all swap round. Camionetto, Britton and Bulcke still out front though. Deprataire and De Keyser 1.3 between those. Mead now 5 seconds back. Still got David Dhoore right behind him. 7 seconds into Beyer, Van Sond, Arella, Camionetto, Britton and Bulcke. That's the guys you're looking at here. Wacky Teddy just on the back of those as well in that pink McLaren. Binnersley now 6 seconds behind with Mark Bosman behind him. Let's take a look at those two. There is Binnersley in the BB Racing Tic Tac car. Looks like that OF Racing's car spent more time off track than on track. But fair play, he's keeping out the way of the guys at the front. I'm not sure if it's Timo Siska or Matty Rademacher. Fair play to them. Get out of the way and get the car round and enjoy the day. That's what this is about. Enjoyment. Well, it is for a lot of them, but for some of the guys it's a little bit more serious than that. Deprataire and De Keyser up front 1 and 2. Mead and Dhoore still together. Where else have we got a big battle? Let's have a look. Mackenberg and Koseman. So it wasn't Mackenberg that was having... was it Mackenberg in the OF car? No, it wasn't. Sorry, my apologies. So Koseman in the SCB orange Ferrari. Mackenberg, of course, in that Bentley. And Christian Grote there in the Tag NSX. The distinctive red and white. Peter Nazeba's in 20th. Dennis has just been passed by Sev Lansley for 21st. Ladislav Toth 23rd. Baborak, Paskin, Timo Siska, easy for you to say. Santiago Carew, who has stopped, back there in 26th. And then we've got the likes of Graves, Moll, Venema, Kunt, Fillingham down there in 32nd. He's not enjoying today at all. Sam Cocaine in 33rd. Nick Campbell 34th. Just being passed by Bergsma actually. Bergsma goes into the pits. Phil Clark, Pavel Bogdan, Andre Nushi, and Rademacher in that OF car near the back. So there we go. 39 runners still left. Go back on board with David Dhoore. You can see just behind him, Max Beyer. Close that right down now. It's one of the Ferraris there is out of the way as they go through. So it's now become a three-way battle for third. Mead, Dhoore and Max Beyer close the gap down lovely. Hughes van Sant only 1.6 off the back of this battle as well. And a gap of 6 seconds to Arella. I thought I'd say that very often. And then the battle between Camaletto, Britton and Bulcke rages behind those. In fact, Bulcke just in the same position as you were a couple of laps ago. Fingers crossed we don't come across something that OF racing car there. Getting out of the way for them. He does. Brakes before the apex. Nicely done. They come to the hard braking area just before the straight. Bulcke again looks up the inside. Him and Britton having a real old tussle here as they go down the straight. Again, the power of that Audi R8 from Jim Britton ahead of Cliff Bulcke in the Aston Martin. Another hard braking area as they come down to the end of the straight. Bulcke looks up the inside, gets the apex, but Jim Britton will come back at him and again gets it done. He'll take the outside here. Cliff Bulcke tries to get his nose up on the inside, doesn't happen. Great driving, Jim Britton keeps 9th place. Cliff Bulcke trying all he can to get past the crew chief, but whatever he tries, he just can't seem to do it. Meanwhile, Jack Camaletto pulls out 2.5 seconds on these two on his pursuit of Ralf Arella. In the pits though, Max Beyer's just come in, I noticed. It seems Van Sant, sorry. There is Max Beyer. Beyer. I'm sure he'll tell me in chat afterwards. Max in for his stop. Deprataire now pulled out 1.6 on De Keyser. Mead, Dhoore, Van Sant, Arella. And then Camaletto, Britton and Bulcke all jump places because of that pit stop from Max. But he's the first one of the leaders to make that stop. Robert Horvath has made his stop down there in 15th. Or in fact 16th now. Max comes out of the pits. Trundle's down there. And on godly slow speed, how many places he can lose here? Barraclough goes through. Look at that. Trundle. Watching all that time disappear. They've all got to do it. Christian Grote goes through. I think he's me out ahead of Naziba. In fact, there is Naziba. And the Grizzly Racing car manages to get ahead. So, Beyer out in 17th. There's Deprataire and De Keyser, still got that gap between them. Here's Mead and Dhoore, still got that gap between them. The rest of the field then a little bit more spread out. Camaletto, Britton and Bulcke managed to put a little bit of time between themselves now. 2.4 the gap between Camaletto and Britton. And Britton and Bulcke now 1.3. Wacky Teddy not far behind, then 1.3 as well. Then is he up to 10th? He's 6 seconds off the back of Wacky Teddy. Osman Barraclough in 12th. Manojlovic, Kosonen just got past Christian Grote by the looks of it. Must have got that. A lot of damage on the side of Kosonen's Ferrari. Look at that. That's going to need some body work. Fair play. He's managed to get through the wars. Up there in 14th. I'm guessing that's Binnersley ahead of him, is it? No, that's Binnersley. So that must, that other Tic Tac car there must have been Bergsma further down the field. Binnersley currently rotating in 9th. Bulcke's in the pit for his stop. Now they all start coming in. As we go through the pit stop phase, and it all gets a little bit more complicated. That's Almeida de Kaiser there, without the McDonald's livery. Let's have a look and see if we've had any instance we can go back and have a look at. Car number 24 and 40 seems to be having a right old ding dong. Who's that? Phil Clark. Let's have a look what happened between those two. TSR and the SCB. Oh, that's not too bad, is it? That's just a little nudge into the corner. ACC just turned us, there's been a contact there. Nothing too serious. Good battle between those two. Walt Graves in the other car's been having a little bit of a ding dong as well. Let's have a look at that one. Slight little nudge, helps him around the corner. In fact, helps around the corner sideways. So Walt Graves just gets this little nudge and loses the place there. Guilty party, the McLaren of Barak Gunt, which I'm sure Walt will be saying under his breath. Santiago Carew goes through past Christian Groten up to 24th. Groten the pits for his stop. Christian down there, as I say, in 25th. A few hard luck stories today. Look at all the front runners in the pits. Look at all those guys. How is this going to shake out? De Kaiser has gone through. Arella has gone through. Deprataire's in the pits. De Kaiser screeched through that corner then. I don't think that was a rotation. It was more of a slide. But De Kaiser's through. Keeps the speed up. Arella 23 seconds back from the leader. Binnersley in third. So Deprataire is out of the pits. What's the gap to him, to David Dhoore? So Deprataire going through the S's. David Dhoore. Same for him. So it looks like a 15-second gap between Dhoore and Deprataire. So I don't think that was quite 15 seconds when they went in. I'm pretty sure James Mead was only 6 or 7 seconds behind the leaders. So David might have lost out there. We'll have to wait for in fact, sorry guys, I'm just having a bit of a, where's James Mead? Where has James Mead gone? If you can see him, please shout in the chat, because I can't. I do hope that's not a disconnect from James Mead, but certainly I can't see him. Gaddies of De Kaiser, Deprataire, Camaletto, Britton, Zebra and Toth, Manojlovic down there in 28th. Looks like James Mead, and unfortunately left the server. He will be absolutely screwing over that. Running so well there, up in third place before the pit stop phase, but whatever's happened, James Mead currently not in the server. Let's hope he can get joined back in. Meanwhile, David Dhoore still got Max Beyer right behind him, so that's shaken out properly. Kosonen showing it on your TV Tanner in 7th. He's in the pit, so He'll start to drop down, as will Binnersley, as will Lansley. We'll see how it all shakes out. The Kaiser still out in front, but yet to stop from Deprataire, Dhoore, Beyer, Arella, Camaletto. Binnersley rolling out the pits there in 7th by the looks of it. Whereabouts in the pits is he? Well, Binnersley out and away, showing 12th on the screen, so a few cars must have rolled past him as he was coming out the pits. And Rick Binnersley up there in 12th. The Kaiser in the pits. Where is Deprataire on track? It's coming round to the horseshoe. Watch for when De Kaiser's little orange one goes green. That's when he's rolling. Deprataire coming around to the penultimate corner. De Kaiser's green, so he's rolling. Deprataire takes the final corner onto start-finish straight. This is going to be close, but I think Deprataire's going to get this. Crosses the start-finish line up towards T1. There's Deprataire. There's De Kaiser out of the pits. Wow, that was close. But Deprataire keeps the position from De Kaiser. The gap's still about a second. Fair play to those two. That's cracking racing. So it's shaken out. Deprataire from De Kaiser, from Dhoore, from Beyer, Arella, Camaletto, Bulcke, Britton, Wacky Teddy, Dennis, Bosman and Binnersley, Barraclough, Mackenberg. Then it's Paskin, Horvath, Kosonen, Santiago Carew, Christian Grote, Sev Lansley, Peter Naziba, Timo Siska, Andre Moll, Richard Vanima, Ladislav Toth, Nemanja Manojlovic, Ladislav Babarak, Fillingham down in 29th, from Sam Cockayne in 30th, Clark, Campbell, Bergsma, Graves, Van Sond. Yves Van Sond down there in 35th. Oh my goodness. He was running 6th at one stage. What happened to Yves Van Sond, 22? Cannot see an incident, unfortunately, for Yves Van Sond, so I'm not sure what happened to him. Car number 28, Dusan Magyar, looks like he's not in the server either. Car number 99, James Mead, also not in the server. Wow. Poor old James Mead. Apologies, sorry, just doing some admin while you were looking at that. So De Kaiser got a car between him and Bram now. He'll dispose of that fairly quickly, I should imagine. Around the last corner, he does. So across the line, Deprataire leads from De Kaiser. Dhoore in 3rd. Beyer there in 4th, and Arella. How far is Dhoore back? Around 14 seconds. He's just coming onto the straight now. So Dhoore in 3rd. You can see Beyer right behind him in that Nissan. Good racing between those two. Arella just coming down the straight now. He sits there in 5th, 13 seconds behind Beyer. And just behind him you can see just in the background Jack Caneto, Jim Britton, sorry. Jesus, Jim Britton managed to get a drive through. He's fallen foul of track limits. So that's going to destroy Jim's race from 9th, unfortunately. That's going to put Bosman back up into 9. Binnersley will get into the top 10. Britton serving his drive through straight away. There is Britton out of the pits. JD Barraclough managed to get through as well. Yeah, Barraclough goes through turn 2 and 3. So he's ahead of Jim Britton. You can see Jim there just coming through with the Bentley of Mackenberg just behind him. Nice race from Mackenberg. Rookie with us in our leagues this season. Deprataire and De Kaiser still a second between them. Dhoore and Beyer's now got that down to a second. Caminetto slowly closing in on Ralf Arella. 2.2, those two. Bulcke, Teddy, and Bosman, Binners, as I say, now in the top 10. Barraclough, good race from Jody Barraclough up to 11th. Jim Britton 7 seconds behind him after his drive-through. Watching him now, he's got the the Bentley of Mackenberg behind him. It looks like one of the TSR McLarens there behind him has been lapped by the looks of it. Horvath and Paskin. Paskin yet to stop in 15th. So running well in 15th in Paskin, but he will have to pull in. That lovely Gulf liveried McLaren, him and Sam Cockayne in a Davidoff McLaren for TSR. De Kaiser has closed it down now to 0.8, putting pressure on Bram. Deprataire, De Kaiser, 14 seconds back to David Dhoore. Let's have a look at some crashes and bangs while these two are sorting themselves out. Here's Nemanja Manojlovic. Incident with Ladislav Toth, it looks like. Manojlovic, whoa! Went to take the space. And Toth still there. Let's just have another look at that. Toth taking a straight line. You can see, and Nemanja goes to take the racing line that there was a car on. And poor old Ladislav Toth ends up in the kitty litter and is now some 7 seconds behind Nemanja. Contact between Cliff Bulcke and Jim Britton. No surprise there, those two. Is that an old incident? Let's have a look. There is Jim. Oh, looks like it was just a little nudge, well, he says. Yeah, Jim gets Cliff back for that nudge earlier, and sends the Aston Martin side this time, so they're equal. They'll have a beer afterwards now. Incident between Manojlovic and Babarak this time earlier on. Let's have a look at that one. Oh, this looks like it could have been messy. Oh, that's just ACC. That's all good. Just for the carbon fibre boys to have a look at where they can go and pick up their bits and pieces. Phil Clark and Nick Campbell have had a coming together. Those two good friends. Let's have a look at that one. Oh, 200 miles an hour down the straight. Bentley Honda NSX. That's how you give space, Nemanja. Just a little rub into the corner. Those two all friends. So all good. De Kaiser now, 0.2. Let's get back and watch that one. Go on board for a lap with Almeida as he chases down Bram Deprataire for the lead. Just half an hour to go. put the sound up. I'll shut up for a minute. While they're on the straight, Martin Kinnon's there just saying Yves Van Son unfortunately got DQ'd for speeding the pit. Sometimes if you come in there too hot and you carry too much speed in, it will DQ you. That's really unfortunate for Yves Van Son, doing so well there. Thank you, Martin, for that. Martin Kinnon's doing an epic job in the chat as always. He is our Ted Kravitz. Probably got better sandals though. Thank you, Martin. Right, now I've blasted your eardrums, I'll turn that down for you. So Bram able to pull out quarter of a second on De Keyser there on that lap. But those two still racing to the end. Half an hour to go, as I say. Deprataire from De Keyser. Dhoore's got a bit of a gap now on Max, but only by about a second and a half. We've seen how easy that can go. So they go through. There goes David Dhoore and Max in the brown and white. Grizzly Racing Nismo GTR. Arella and Camaletto still got that 2.5 second gap between them in 5th and 6th. Bulcke chased them down in 7th, 3.5 behind Camaletto. Teddy there in 8th. Bosman 9th, Binnersley 10th, closing down on Bosman for that 9th place, just a second between them. Barraclough then in 11th, big gap then, Binnersley and Barraclough. Britton, Mackenberg fighting again together. Matty hard on the brakes there. Audi rolls round the corner and off they go to fight another lap. They've got a gap of 10 seconds back to Robert Horvath in 14th. Kostner was running well prior to the pit stops in 15th. Christian Grote up to 16th. Santiago Carew in 17th. Sev Lanzi making the best of a bad race in 18th. Peter Naziva running well in 19th. Ruud Dennis, nice showing from him in 20th. Benema 21st. Andre Mole 22nd. Again coming back from instant mid-race. Ian Paskin 23rd, who has stopped now in the McLaren. So the WRT team of De Keyser and Deprataire looks like they're going to be leading the championship after race one if it stays like this. Dhoore and Bulcke, intense racing, winners of last Masters, will be sat there in second. A 3rd and 7th company for those two. Team 77, Ralf Arella in 5th, and Fillingham having a nightmare race at the back of the field. So Team 77 will be struggling for double points today. Super Max. Beyer is driving a great race, up in 4th, looking for his first podium with RRL. Well, not for RRL leagues, of course not. He's there in the Porsche Cup. Well, certainly in the GT3s though, it'll be his first podium. if he can get past David Dhoore. Britton still holding off Mackenberg. Bosman and Binnersley further up the field in 9th and 10th. Running close. This is the view from Binnersley's M4, chasing down Bosman's M4. Of course, teammate of was he Yves Vincent teammate? God, my eyes are going. I can't see my sheet now. Of course, you can look at this up quicker than I can tell you with the spotter sheet. In the chat below, there is a link to it. Yves Vincent and Bosman, indeed, for VS. I think that's VSB Racing. I printed this out so small I can't bloody see it. Useful. But yeah, Vincent disqualified for excess speed in the pit lane. Came in too hot. Binnersley taking a real interest in Bosman's M4. Moves out, looks down the inside, tucks back in. Bosman runs it deep in there, as does Binnersley, but not as hot. And that tight right-hander. And they'll go left. And then round the horseshoe they'll go. Battle for 9th, Bosman and Binnersley. Up front, Deprataire and De Keyser. Half a second between those guys. It's currently the closest battle on track, although behind Jim Britton has got Mackenberg and Jody Barraclough within a second. But Binnersley right on the tail here of Bosman into turn 1. He's going to look up the inside. Bosman takes that line though away from Binnersley, and they go through the S's. And you can see Britton, Mackenberg and Barraclough having the same conversation, although not quite as close. That's Jim Britton, Mackenberg in that grey Bentley just behind, or silver Bentley. And you can see Jody Barraclough's M4 just goes through the shot there. So those three battling for 11th. Remember, Jim Britton had a drive-through earlier for track limits. He's running quite well up the field, battling with Bulcke and Camaletto. Speaking of Bulcke and Camaletto, there is Jack, and you can see the Aston Martin of Cliff Bulcke right behind him now. Bulcke trying to get his way back to his teammate David Dhoore there in 3rd. Tic-tac car of Andre Bergsma, I think that is, gets out of the way for Camaletto and Bulcke, ex-teammates, Bergsma and Camaletto. Bulcke looks up the inside, Camaletto goes wide in turn 1. They have a little nudge as they come out of there, and they're going to go side by side through the S's. Camaletto keeps the position. He'll be sweating in that rig. Hope you got that patio door open, Jack. Cliff Bulcke's had some intense racing today. First with Jim Britton, now with Camaletto. From De Keyser and Deprataire, still half a second between them. Clock ticks down towards 20 minutes. Thanks in the chat, Eric. Looks like Sam Cocaine's had a drive-through. Sam currently down there in... Where is Sam? Where is Sam? Can't find Sam. Where are you, my friend? I do hope Sam's still in the server. There he is, 33rd. My apologies. Didn't realise he was that far down. Still, Caminetto holds off Bulcke. Further down the field, Bergsma and Phil Clark are at it. They really are at it, aren't they? Phil Clark through on the inside of Bergsma. Nice move, Phil Clark. Very quick in practice. Not had the best of luck by the looks of it in the race. He's up to 31st. He's some 38 seconds off Timo Siska there in 30th. He's having his own little battle with Nick Campbell. Battles going on throughout the field. Caminetto and Bulcke still there as they go at the start-finish straight. Caminetto a little bit more suspect into T1 this time, or is he? No, they're going to do it again. Side by side into 2. And again Caminetto comes out in front. You can see Bulcke's pushed him so hard into turn 1. He's having to brake so late. That's pushing him wide. Still Caminetto holds off Cliff Bulcke. Kaiser 20 seconds ahead of Dhoore in 3rd. And Dhore's now pulled out 4 seconds on Max Beyer. So it looks like Dhoore might have nailed 3rd position. Britton and Mackenberg still at it. They're in the same part of the track the other two have just been through. Further back, Christian and Christian Groot close together there on track for 15th. Let's go back to the Caminetto Bulcke battle. They come onto the straight. Oh! Sorry, come off the straight. That corner looks so similar, doesn't it? Whether they're coming onto the straight or off the straight, it looks such the same corner. Got 18 more minutes of this. And one more lap. Like Pavel Bogdan's in the chat, so he must be out of the server. So that's another one we've lost, unfortunately. Sorry to see that, Pavel. Just seeing one of the JJ Racing teams, his game crashed. I wonder if it crashed at the same time as mine did. I hope I didn't cause it. I don't think I did. My computer just literally went pop. And so it killed his wheel. Remember, there's a random draw at the end of the championship for a wheelbase. And if you've been listening this far into the stream, so just watch Bulcke and Caminetto go at it again. This time it's onto the straight. Should we go with the helicam shot? Wow, that R8 is quick down the straight. Bulcke has to tuck back in the Aston. Gets a little bit of a toe, pulls back out again. He's going to look up for the inside. Caminetto's going to switch back, is he? No, Bulcke does very clever there. Cuts the route off that switchback from Caminetto, and Bulcke makes his way up to 6th. Epic defending from Caminetto. But Jack drops down to 7th. So yeah, saying about the wheelbase, any of the drivers that complete 6 of the 7 races in the series with us this season and complete 75% of the laps that their leader completes, or 75% of the distance at least. We'll be into a draw for a Moser R9 direct drive wheel. So rent one if you need to, whoever that was from JJ Racing. Rent yourself a wheelbase and then make sure you're in the draw. Sponsors, Crew Chief and RR Leagues, and one of our incognito sponsors have put the prizes together. RR Leagues and Crew Chief providing a rim for that wheelbase, or at least a contribution to one if one of the drivers wants to, or the winner decides they want a more upmarket wheel. But yeah, our rather generous sponsor, who prefers to stay incognito, is providing the Moser R9 to one lucky driver of this championship. So good luck to those guys. So there's Jack trying to pull back on Cliff, but Cliff's already half a second out in front. Where's the battles on track? Still Britton and Mackenberg down there in 10th and 11th having a good old fight. And then Ladislav Babarak and Burak Kunt having a good old fight all the way back in 26th. So if it is Ladislav, I'm guessing it must have been the other JJ Racing team of Ehrlich, whose wheel went pop. That's horrible if that's happened. Ladislav's Toff still there in 25th. Oh, look at this. Kunt's got a drive on Babarak here as they go down the straight. And the McLaren. Oh, couldn't. Oh, little nudge there from Babarak just to let him know I'm not done with. Those two fighting out over 26th and 27th. Yeah, I wonder if it's Peter Nazeeba's wheel that went pop. Is that you, Peter, in chat? I do hope it wasn't. If you have, I've got a T300 RS here that's going cheap. Let me know. Up front, 15 minutes to go. Deprataire still leads to Kaiser by half a second. There you go, after 78 minutes of racing. These two split by a cigarette paper. Excellent driving from these. So they've pulled out a 25-second lead over David Dhoore in third. Max Beyer still at 4 seconds behind David Dhoore in fourth. Arella some 12 seconds back in fifth. Cliff Bulcke's now pulled out 2.5 seconds on Camiletto in sixth. Camiletto seventh. Teddy there in eighth. Good showing from Zander there in eighth. Binnersley up to ninth. Always reliable Rick Binnersley up there in ninth. Bosman there in 10th. Britton and Mackenberg still fighting over 11th. Jody Barraclough in 12th. He's got Robert Horvath right behind him in 14th. Sorry, Barraclough in 13th. Horvath in 14th. So still lots of racing going on down the field. None more so in 10. Oh, J-Bot is James Mead. Oh, James Mead's wheel went brang. Oh no. I thought it was one of the JJ Racing guys. Thanks, Martine. Like I said, James, if you want a T300 RS, let me know. Even if it's just for borrows, mind you. If you're abusing wheels like that, I'm not sure I want to lend it to you. You can buy it. The two leaders get past a couple of back markers there. Although Deprataire in deep into the corner onto the straight. Let's get that helicam shot. That's the difference between the two of them. De Kaiser and Deprataire is De Keyser going to make a move here down into is it T12 this one, turn 11 onto the straight? He is. He's got the inside line. Is this a swap for the lead? It is. De Keyser through after that bad entry onto the straight from Deprataire. Just went deep into turn 11. And that's allowed De Keyser through. So De Keyser leads. Deprataire second. That OnlyFans car. That's Blue Plague's extreme, isn't it? Fair play to you though, son. Leaders come along, I'm getting out of the way. So ignore your TV tower. De Keyser leads from Deprataire in second. David Dhoore is third. Max Beyer fourth. Arella fifth. Deprataire untidy through there as well. So as they go down the straight, De Keyser opened up 1.3 seconds after a really scruffy lap. A 2:06.7 from Bram, a 2:06.4. No, that can't be right. Bram must have put a worse lap than that in. Yeah, ignore that graphic, that's wrong. Last lap from Deprataire, sorry, a 2:10. That just shows you. Locking on 2.6s, his fastest lap 2:06.0 for Bram. De Keyser with a 2:05.9, he's the fastest lap of the race. The only one into the 2:05s in the race so far. I say so far, I don't think anyone's going to manage it now with their worn tyres. Just realised I haven't got my Discord open. Better do that in case anyone wants to jump in after the race and tell us all their hard luck stories. I do love the driver interviews after the race, always good fun. So yep, that's all good. So Deprataire 1.5 seconds now off the back of De Keyser. After that very scruffy lap. Back on pace now, 2:06.9 for De Keyser that time round. Deprataire 2:07.2. So just losing out another couple of tenths to Armado. David Dhoore on the same sort of pace, 2:07.4 from David Dhoore last time round. Other guys in that sort of place. Christian Grote last time round at 2:07.8, down in 15th, so obviously a lot of pace there. Robert Horvath has got past Jody Barraclough for 13th. There is Horvath and Barraclough. Some back markers in front of them on the SCB Boatley guys there. And then the Golf McLaren. Is it a Golf McLaren? It is the Golf McLaren of either Sam Cockayne or Ian Paskin ahead of them. So back markers up ahead. Horvath desperately trying to make his way past those. As Barraclough tries to hang on to his tailcoat. Britton and Mackenberg still a tow rope between them. This is the battle for 11th. Mackenberg at least knows where he can get his crew chief download. Now it's probably written on the back of that car. Thecrewchief.org. If you don't have it already, make sure you go there if you are a sim racer and download it. Thecrewchief.org. I think it's .org. I'm sure someone will tell me if I'm wrong. So De Kaiser and Deprataire, 1.8 the gap now between those two. David Dhoore in third, Max Beyer fourth, Arella, Bulcke, Camaletto, Teddy, Binnersley, Bosman. The battle here between Britton and Mackenberg's for 11th, Horvath 13th and Barraclough 14th. We've just seen those two. Christian Grote there in 15th, still pumping in really quick laps. Coaston there in 16th, from Lansley in 17th, Santiago Carew 18th, Peter Naziba in 19th. Oh, Peter is still in the server, that's good. Richard Vanema, Ian Paskin 20th and 21st, Dennis Manonovic, Mol Toth, Kunt, Fillingham in 27th, wow. Going around in turn 9-1, so still putting in decent time, Cy Fillingham, but just obviously had a really terrible race. Ladislav Babarak in 28th, Phil Clark, again, 2:07.7 last time round for him. That's quick, down there in 29th. In fact, he's in the pits. So, whether he's out of fuel or something, I don't know. Oh, drive-through, Phil Clark, there you go. Fallen foul of the track limits. Timo Siska down there in 30th. Bergsma 31st. Sam Cocaine, in fact, just gone through. Siska and Bergsma having a bit of a set to. Guessing Rademacher is in the other OnlyFans McLaren that keeps getting out of the way. He's 50 seconds back from Arben Nushi, probably because he's so good at getting out of the way. Matty, a rookie, but good to see him in the server anyway. Just showing how our leagues is open for everybody, not just the aliens at the front of the grid. Bergsma and Siska here having a really good old scrap. Just trying to see if we've got any more close battles apart from Santiago Carew and Peter Naziba. Santiago Carew in the Aston. Naziba just behind him in the Audi. Coming up on the SCB bars again. Those Bentleys seem to get in the way wherever they are. The Bentley stays in the racing line, just eases off and feathers the throttle. Lets those two guys through. So through goes Santiago Carew and Naziba. Good showing from Peter Naziba today. Nice to see. Kept his nose clean. Jim Britton's finally managed to put a second between him and Matty Mackenberg, just to ease the pressure that he's felt pretty much all race. Naziba really pushing Santiago Carew here. Down the straight they go. This is the view from Peter Naziba's dashboard. Carew defends, pulls back onto the line, again goes onto the corner. Aston turns on a sixpence there, and he's round and safe. Naziba's R8 pushing him all the way. Kaiser and Deprataire up front, 2 seconds the gap as they come into a couple of laps to go. Miguel Santiago Carew defending for his life here. Peter Naziba trying everything to get past. Although around the outside of the final corner, I don't think it's the place to do it, but it was a good effort. So those two cross the line. There's your race leader, De Kaiser. She's got this. One more lap, or maybe just this one. Maybe this is the final lap. 1:15 to go and about a minute around the track to go as well. So this could be Maynard De Kaiser's final lap for the victory. Bram, I think, has given up the ghost on this one. 2 seconds back there. Maynard kept pushing him all the way, and then with about a quarter of an hour to go, Bram had a terrible lap. De Kaiser took full advantage of it, passed him on the straight, and since then it's been Maynard De Kaiser's race. Deprataire 2.3 back, but that's it now. The clock ticks down 30 seconds. They may just get one more lap in here. It's going to be tough. It's going to be close. Two more corners. I don't think they're going to do it. The start-finish line is fairly close to this final corner. As it ticks down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is going to be your final lap. De Kaiser has won by 0.1 of a second in the end from Deb. I thought he went very slow right in that final corner, but the two of them in formation across the start-finish line. What a race. Maynard De Kaiser and Bram Deprataire. You have to say that is racing of its absolute finest quality. But De Kaiser takes the win from his teammate. David Dhoore is going to come home in third. In fact, he does. David Dhoore comes home in third for intense racing, followed closely by Max Beyer. Ralf Arella just coming through the final couple of corners. Ralph's going to finish in fifth. Cliff Bulcke right behind him, closed him right down there in sixth in the end. Jack Caminetto comes through for seventh. Nice racing from Jack there. He's had a few battles today. Zander Wacky Teddy coming through. And the TSR McLaren. Nice showing from him. He's going to come home in 8th position. Nice driving from him. Mark Bosman, teammate of the unfortunate Yves Van Sond, is going to come home in 9th. Jim Britton and behind him and Matty Mackenberg is still having that battle. Bosman comes home in 9th. Look at these two. They've been that close for about 45 minutes. But Britton finally beats Mackenberg. Horvath is going to come home in 12th. Jody Barraclough for Strive Motorsports is going to come home in 13th. Good racing from Jody there. Christian Groot just coming around there in 14th. Nice racing from him. Rick Binnersley dropped down a bit. He must have had an incident. He's coming home in 15th. He was well up there. Whatever happened to Rick? Comes home in 15th. Coasting just behind him there in 16th. Puts his TSR Ferrari into the McLaren into the wall. And that's it. All the other runners and riders have been lapped. So there we go. What a race. Maynard De Kaiser takes the win from Bram Deprataire, David Dhoore, Max Beyer, Ralf Arella, Cliff Bulcke, Jack Caminetto, Wacky Teddy, Mark Bosman, Jim Britton. That's your top 10, I believe. Although I thought Jim Britton was 11th. No, he must come in 10th. Rick Binnersley, of course, dropped down the field, didn't he? Into 15th. Not sure what happened there. Did Rick get a drive-through? Possibly. Right, do you know what? While we're doing that, let's have a look at some incidents there at the end of the race. 68. Who's car 68? Jody Barraclough. Contact near the end of the race. Oh yeah. Was that Ian Paskin or Sam Cocaine getting it all wrong there? But didn't lose a place. Fortunately for Jod. Comes home in 13th. Car number 69. Who's that? Oh, Matty Rademacher. I'm not going to give him any grief because he's been good all race, bless him. Car number 13, I've got a feeling that's Jack, isn't it? It is, Jack Caminetto. Had a coming together. Or was this just at the end of the race, maybe? No, it's a back marker cutting across the track, but obviously didn't see that one. But not much else to report, really. Nice clean racing from a lot of the guys today. Obviously some hard luck stories there as well. Obviously I forgot to press it, but I didn't need to because the game crashed. In fact, the computer crashed, not the game. Let's go and stick the replays up, shall we? Wait to see if anyone jumps in the waiting room to talk to us. I need to come back out there. Out there, into gallery. I know what I'm doing. Highlights. We're going to get highlights. No, it's just given us that. Well, at least we can have a look at the start anyway, can't we? Something went wrong there at the start, so... Oh, we're not going to see the start because, of course, we lost the start. The game didn't save it for me because the PC went bang. That's a shame. Oh well. Ho-hum. Ho-hum. But yeah, what a race that was, I have to say. Pretty intense from all those guys, and hard luck to James Mead, who unfortunately suffered the failure when running so well. His wrists are okay, and it was just his wheel that went pop.
Hi, Martin.
Si Fillingham, how you doing, man? Not good, I take it.
Yes, I can't hear anything just at the moment.
Hang on a second, that might be me or it might be you. Check, check. Yep. Alright, must be sight.
Hi, Martin.
Hello, sir. You're back.
Yes, I'm back.
There we
Yes.
Well, yeah, back. Go on, what happened, man? Because I saw you way down the back of the field at the start of the race. What happened?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. There was an incident on the start-finish straight soon after the green light. Someone moved across too much, it looked like, on first view, and into another car, which caused a bit of a few car collisions, and then again into the S's. It just all got a bit messy, and yeah, more collisions and comings together, and unfortunately I got a few heavy hits, and yeah, that was the end of my race, shall we say.
Oh man, I'm so sorry, because I know you've been showing some decent pace in practice. I have been watching every now and again and popping you in the server. But I know, obviously, the M4, I see Ralph struggled today in that. It's obviously not got the pace that the Lexus had last season.
Not on this showing. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say, and it's a long season. Some certain tracks will perform well, I'm sure. But yeah, here it seemed to be. We weren't too concerned about that. We was just looking for a strong result. But yeah, that was gone by the wayside by half a lap in. So yeah.
Well, you do get a drop round, so at least you had some fun tonight, if nothing else. But yeah, don't lose.
Yeah. Shame we lost our steward as well. I think he had a disconnection and couldn't get back in. So
yeah, I think we had a lot of bad things going. I mean, my computer literally about halfway through the race, everything just went black in my room. Yeah. So we lost the stream as well. So yeah, not good luck for everybody today, really.
No, but yeah, I'm sure I'll have a look as soon as we've got things tied up here, how the stream went. But yeah, let's hope for better at the next round.
Yes, mate. Yeah, all I can do is console you, mate, and say, yeah, we'll be better next time round.
Yeah, cheers, Martin. I'll certainly do that.
Yeah, enjoy Suzuka next time. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, cheers, Martin. Bye-bye.
Thanks, mate. Cy Finningham there, just trying to hold back the tears from what was a terrible start by the sounds of it. I did see something happened early on, and I thought, oh, it must have just been a nudge on the start-finish straight, but obviously it was more than that. So it must have happened back there, and then obviously we saw the... Oh, hello. I'll just wait for Bram and Almeida to turn their mics on, but they're going to join us in the commentary box very shortly. But yeah, we saw the incident at the S's. But obviously it all went wrong before that as well, so that's why a lot of those guys... We saw Phil Clark down there as well. He was up at the top of the grid along with Cy Finningham, so... Bram and Ado, if you can hear me, turn your mics on, boys, because I can't hear you. If not, I'll wait till you're ready. Thanks, Clive, man. It wasn't a great stream, but I appreciate your thoughts. We had a stream. We had 2 streams. I literally closed down one window, and as soon as I closed the window, the whole thing went pop. So I'm not sure what happened. It was the Race Labs app that was running all the timings. So whatever happened there, that's what caused the stream to go bang. Amado, are you there? No. I'm sure he'll tell us when he is. But yeah, thanks, Clive, man. I appreciate it. When you had it's funny when you've got about 14 or 15 windows open, trying to get them all back again when the stream goes down. It's always good fun. Thanks to you all guys in chat for hanging around. I do appreciate it.
Hello, Martin.
Hello! How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
What a great win, man.
Thanks. I didn't really have much confidence going into the race because I had a really hard time learning Kota, but everything turned out to be fine.
Yeah, there was that one bad lap from Bram. He went deep into the corner onto the straight we saw, and you just managed to get past him there, I think.
Yeah, indeed. He had a bit of trouble with the back marking and missed his braking, and then I could just pass him.
Lovely work. I mean, you kept pressuring virtually all race. I mean, between the two of you, it was fantastic to watch, I have to say.
Yeah, we were in voice together, and we decided not to really attack each other and just work together and try to make a gap to third place.
Which you did. David Dhoore did push, but obviously I think the gap at the end was something like 20 seconds. The pace of you two was just out of this world. Bram, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Sorry.
That's
No,
all right.
Mic and my button for push to talk.
No, good man. Good race, man. And you just had that one bad corner that just let Almeida through.
Yeah, we sort of in voice and just working together, so we didn't really argue it was going to be P1 or P2. I was lucky I could just there was a back marker there, a Bentley I believe, who it's a bit of a weird maneuver I would say, and then was very lucky not to hit him on the edge, but yeah, so that's why we had the overtaking maneuver. Yeah,
very mature driving from the two of you if you're doing that in voice and working out who's going to be where. It's a long series, as you know, so
yeah, exactly. It's good to get those first few points already, so yeah, it didn't make any sense to go and battle each other already
No, especially the first few laps. We just had to make sure we could gap the other cars.
Yeah, I mean, some of your main competitors obviously struggled today. I mean, Ralf Arella's M4 down there, I think it was in 7th or 6th in the end, so literally about half a minute off the back of you, which is really unusual for Ralf to be that far back. Cliff Bulcke had a few incidents as well, so he fell off the back as well. So
yeah, what happened to Cliff? We didn't really
Yeah, there was an incident, I think, turn 1, turn 2, maybe even before that, which pushed him back down the field, and then he got caught up racing with some great racing with Jim Britton and Jack Camaletto, which cost him a lot of time. He did manage to get back up, I think, to 5th or 6th in the end. But yeah, he'll be looking to push a little bit harder maybe in Suzuka in a couple of weeks' time.
Oh yeah, man, he should. But yeah, of course, that's a shame he had an incident. That happens.
Yeah,
It could have been us. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
Well, that's why you qualify first and second, I guess, so you don't have to put up with that sort of stuff, I guess.
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah. Well, I say great race from the two of you. Literally a masterclass around Kota. And yeah,
Thank you.
just brilliant
Thanks a
between the
lot.
two of you. Just brilliant.
Thank you, Martin.
No
Thank you,
worries.
Martin.
Before you go, mate, how do I say your first name? Do I get it right? Is it Amado?
Close enough. It's Amadeo.
Amadeo. There you go.
That's close.
I had to ask you. I had to ask. Brilliant. Thanks, man. Thanks both of you.
Thank
Alright,
you. Have a
see
good
later,
night.
Martin.
Yeah, you too,
Good
guys.
night. Bye-bye.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Bye.
So your race winner and second, both Team WRT, showing us the way forward there. I've got no highlights to show you because obviously the stream went pop. So I might just call it quits there. De Keyser, Deprataire, David Dhoore, your top three. Join us in 2 weeks' time at Suzuka. Where we're going to see even more of that masterclass, I've got a feeling. But maybe pushed a little bit harder by the likes of Arella, Cliff Bulcke, David Dhoore. But yeah, today was down to WRT 1 and 2. A fantastic performance from both of them. And with that, I'll leave you. Thanks you all for the chat, for following along and being involved. Sorry for that little incident midstream, but thanks for sticking with us. And we'll see you all in a couple of weeks. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the video, now's the time to do it before we go. And like I said, have a rest of a great weekend. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Thanks, guys, and take care.